Good morning. It's a beautiful Saturday here in Oregon. We got our gray skies back and not from the smoke. The weather's starting to cool off. And I thought I'd give you a little tour of my shop. Heading up this little trail. As you can see, this is an area in which we chop our wood, getting wood ready for the winter. It does get chilly. My son and I are going to be busy doing some of this today. And over here in the entryway, I have some pegboards set up. It's where I keep some of my garden supplies. I just hung this up. We're going to start hanging some different things out here so it's easier access for the family to grab a hold of some things and they don't have to go through my shop to try to find what they're looking for. My wife's always saying, where's this and where's that? Well, now here it's on this wall. And all I ask is that she puts it back. Over here I got like my snow shovel, shovels, shears, pruners, hoe, saw, some pots. But this is easy for the family to get a hold of different things. Anyways, traps. But otherwise they're trying to find stuff in this crazy mess. It's not too bad, but I'm always in the middle of some projects and it's difficult for my family to look through here, and I know where things are, they don't. On this wall I have some pegboards. I keep various things for woodworking and tapes. I got my hard hat. I try to keep this wall fairly simple for myself. Over here I got jars with nuts and bolts, and I got different things in every cubby of this place. Knee pads. Over on this wall, same thing. Bunch of keyboards, bunch of pegboards with different tools and various things that I need throughout my work days. Got my little toolbox that I keep different stuff in, tape measures and knives, and I keep some screwdrivers and what have you in there. My compressor. Always got to have yourself a fire extinguisher in your shop. It's very important. I do a lot of overhead stuff, like I got an air blower up there. I've got my weed whacker hung, my hedgers hung up here. I've got a dolly hung up, another hedger, another weed whacker. I have a 2-acre property, so it's a lot of work out here. So we have to get involved with, or the kids have to get involved. So weed whacking for me, weed whacking for my son. Got my table saw out here. I was just working on making some custom baseboards for my daughter's room. I just laid some new flooring for her, so I took some leftover pretty board from a business I had, and I cut up a bunch of baseboards for her, and her floor turned out beautiful. Yes, it did. I've got a really cool Honda generator that I picked up locally. It's an old E1500. Got that thing for $125. Works like a champ. Anyway, got some different vices on my bench. One set up sideways, mount, one up top. Over here I've got some more space for cubbies, or more space for stuff in my cubbies. Over here I have a project I'm working on. This is a old wood stove here that I took out of my house and put a new insert in. Well, what this container is it's oil, used oil, motor oil, lawnmower oil, oil from deep fryers, and you filter it out, and it runs down this tube, and it runs into the fireplace. And back here I've got a fan that's going to be hooked up, and I got to run a vent up through the top, and oil will now heat my shop. So that's another project I'm going to be working on, and I'll take you through that on this channel. Different wood stuff that I've got to make some shelves up. I'm going to be putting shelves up higher in here, so I've got all this leftover wood from an old business, and more shelving up top. I keep different tools, Sawzall, little mini air compressor, tubes, whatever, different things for different projects. Got some fencing for around my property, leftover fencing I got to figure out what to do with. More shelves, what may look like junk to my wife is all precious to me. I got an old dishwasher that is actually brand new that's going into a business. Oh, my welder, drill press. Up here I've got more pegboard. I built these. So I hang different tools up there, heat guns, staple guns, jigsaws, my blades, another one. And I put some shelves up top, just trying to get things off the ground. Put a little shop light up here, hanging hoses. This used to be a barn for horses, and when I purchased the place 10 years ago, I don't have horses and I had no desire, so I had concrete laid in here and decided to make it my shop instead of an old dingy barn, which it's still a dingy barn, but it's a dingy shop instead. And like I said, I made these pegboards and hung some shelves up, try to keep things semi-organized. My chipper's out. I had to rebuild the carburetor, waited on the gasket. It came. I haven't had time to work on it. This is outside of this side of the barn. Over here is where I used to have my chickens, and they all got slaughtered last season. So I am today, aside from some wood, I just put up some new doors on my chicken coop, and I put a door in here. Before it was difficult to get in. I just hung some new perches. Today we're going to put up some shelves up here so that they have an area to lay their eggs that's not so low to the ground where the skunks can get a hold of them, and add some lighting. And I'm going to scratch the paint off of here, the old paint, and repaint it. But it's a good size. We're getting like 15 chickens next week, so I got to get busy on this today. But it needs some love, and it hasn't been messed with for like a year, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. That and wood, and a baby shower. So in this room, which used to be a horse stable, I've got my kayaks set up on these racks I built. They were intended to sit up high, and one of them I got to re-weld. It broke, but this one's on the ground right now. And in here I basically keep different garden supplies, my lawnmowers, my one of my power washers, gasoline, garden supplies, shovels, scrapers, rakes, another dolly, light. I got a generator, my big power washer. In here's where I keep certain things like gasoline and supplies for my my weed eater, and extra stuff for my quads and oils. Hang up my ladders. What else is in this place? Oh yeah, I am a San Diego boy. Go Bolts. And now they're not in San Diego. Boo. In this room, it's basically shelving with different stuff in here. Cleaning supplies, starter fluids, oils. I got this sitting on the side of the road. Had a free sign on it, so I decided what a great place to put it, right here in my barn shop. That's been about 10 years now, sitting there. I've got some cabinets, which these are made out of that crappy board, and they don't do so hot out here. I've got to replace them. That particle board stuff's bowing from weight, and it gets moist. It doesn't get wet in here, but it gets moist from the the damp weather here in Oregon, and the shelves start to bow, and I've got to reorganize all this stuff. But it's where I keep electrical supplies and all my extra wiring, stuff of that nature. So basically this is my shop. I don't know if this even interests anybody. It's kind of a mess right now. I'm always in the middle of projects, and I move things from one area. I have a building in town that I have a shop over there too, so I'm moving things from one area to another, and Always trying to figure out how to organize this place, but it's coming along. Sometimes it gets messy, sometimes it gets nice and organized. This door opens up here, and it goes out to a mountainside behind my house where I have no neighbors over here at all. So that's kind of nice. This got overran with blackberries this year. I don't know why. In 10 years I've lived here, this area has never had this issue. And this year the blackberries came in. I just did not have time to take care of it. This was all filled with blackberries. So I took a day and whacked it all down. And I got to about here and had other things to do. So my son's bike went and dumped out on him, and his grandpa just recently bought him a new one. So I'm gonna fix it up and give it to one of the neighborhood kids whose bike is in desperate need of replacement. So I'm going to replace the crank assembly and donate this bike to one of my son's best friends. Aside from that, this is what we got going on. This is my barn, my shop, whatever you want to call it. Kind of a longer video than I thought it would be, and I didn't really even explain anything. Anyway, lots of projects going on here at the Maxwell Ranch, Maxwell property, my home over there. And our garden, I've got to start tearing that down. It's not producing as much. We had really smoky weather this year, so it didn't do as well as I'd like, but it did pretty good. But now it's time to get it all down, rototill it, cover it, and wait for next season. Thanks for watching my video, and hope you enjoy the little things I put on here. Till next time.